What are you doing to your eye?
What do you mean? It's an eyelash curler.
What the heck? What?
I got broads in Atlanta. She's a good in the planet. Credit cards and scammers. Getting the list in the van. Legacy, family. Fancy, look like a panda.
So you're probably wondering, Vino, why are you wearing a hat indoors? And that's because my hair works on a different schedule than my filming schedule. So, you know, whenever I want to film, it's just the hair is not cooperating. It's not presentable. I'll show you right now. Not very presentable. So let's go ahead and hide that back up again. So yeah, that's just hair situation. It's not like my face is presentable anyways, but hair is just not presentable. So probably the most interesting thing that I did this week was go watch another dance competition at my old high school. And the only reason, realistically, was why I went was because, first of all, a bunch of friends and their family went to go watch, so that was fun. Got to mingle and meet new people, but also got to visit my old high school. And, you know, that really gets me. You know, nostalgia really got to me because I visited my old high school. And nostalgia plays a huge role in my life. Not necessarily because, like, oh, I'm just constantly feeling this overwhelming sense of, like, nostalgia, but because of the things that I'm interested in, right? Like, specifically music, you know. Vaporwave is a very retro kind of throwback to the 80s/90s kind of music, sampling old music and just kind of retouching it or down-touching it to make it into a very unique kind of genre of music. Retro gaming is a huge thing in my life. Very big fan of playing the old Pokemon series, specifically the GBAs, on emulators, or maybe even a real Game Boy Advance SP. That's fun. But yeah, it's just, you know, nostalgia is a good thing and a bad thing. It reminds you about how good the old days were, just how good, you know, the memories were back then, but also reminds you of, like, you know, the journey that it took for you to get to where you are now, regardless of how good or bad it was, right? And for me, that's high school, right? You know, I basically got to walk in the hallways that I spent 5 years, 5 days a week in, which was, it wasn't hell, but it wasn't necessarily heaven. And you get to thinking about the old experiences that you had, whether they be good, whether they be bad. And that's the part of nostalgia that I really, really like, is because it gets you thinking about both sides of the spectrum of the experience that was high school. You know, you got to see all the ups and downs, right? All the friends you made, all the friends you lost. You know, that's forming you into who you are right now. And it really makes you miss it as well. You know, I'm not saying that the university sucks, but in comparison to high school, it isn't necessarily the best. Sure, you got a lot more academic freedom. There's a wide variety of courses that you can take, and you're not really limited to them, especially as an art student. But seeing high school and being reminded of how much easier it was, how much less pressure there was, you know. In university, you're kind of just, if you screw up, then you're wasting money, time, and potential progress towards a career. Whereas in high school, that's what summer school's for. You just repeat a course. I know I did. And it's really those kinds of things that get you thinking about how much better things were back then. Not necessarily saying that things right now are terrible. It's just in comparison to the old days, you know, that's how good it was back then. To quote one of my favorite fictional characters, I wish there was a way to know you're in the good old days before you've actually left them. Andy Bernard, The Office. See, that's the reason why I watch The Office, is because I'm expecting those brief moments of just sheer utter brilliance at 4 a.m, because that's when I watch it, and then I start crying because that was the final episode of the series, and you're just so happy for Jim and Pam. You know, it's just really punches you in the gut, really tugs on your heartstrings. Nostalgia, and it really gets to you. But yeah, that was that week, and those are my thoughts. I'll see you guys next video. Again, I'm sorry, you know, it's every video I'm wearing a hat. It's just because the hair is just I'm sorry.
I got broads in Atlanta. She's a good in the family. Credit cards and scammers. Getting the list in the van. Legacy, family. Fancy, look like a panda. Going up like a Montana.